afternoon. For those of you guys that don't know me, I go by the name of Trapvision 3D. And if you're here, you've made it on a lifestyle. Today, it's raining. Beautiful day, right? Hope everybody's safe. So today, I wanted to invite you guys to a part of me that I share with some, man, but I said, you know what? I got so many people rocking with me right now, man. I'm gonna give y'all a little idea of how I think. See, for some, I have a lot of people, well, a few people that know me personally. I've met a lot of you guys through this media. But for the rest of you guys, all you see is, hey, this cat, you know what I'm saying, rocking the watches and stuff like that. I might throw on a nice little bib or crown or something like that, man. But I just want to share something with you guys, man. See, me, I view things a little different. I'm not going to say than the average person, but, you know, I can't speak for nobody else. But for me, I see, like, life is like a blank sheet of paper or tapestry or something like that, right? And over time, you know what I'm saying, you get the scribbling and doodling and splashes of paint here, all types of situations going on there, man, and you just adding it to this story. So, this is the first question that I ask. Well, for me, it's pretty simple. Take me back to my childhood. Southside Chicago. Yeah, boy. Beautiful city, man. Tell you the truth. Think about the skyline. You got the beachfront. But the biggest thing for me, man, as a kid, that I gotta go with this right here, man. You know, leaving home, going to school, coming back, just to watch my most favorite program. This right here was worth the price of admission, man. I'm telling you, between this, Thundercats, and Transformers, those are my main three. And of course, I loved He-Man, you know, and you think about the artistry behind these, man, how symbolic they were. What was art for me? The form of it, gotta say my sister. She was the key to everything, right? So my big sister introduced me to music, fashion, you know, just fun, all around fun, man. Like the food, the culture. You think about Chicago, right? You think about the culture, Maxwell's, going down there and getting you a hot dog or whatnot. But then she took me to something that, man, that was larger than life, man. And that was Bulls game. You feel what I'm saying? Dude, watching Michael Jordan play? Dude, I'm trying to tell you, there's a lot of people that won't even get an opportunity to see that ever. All they can do is watch it. I was there. I seen it with my own eyes. I enjoyed it. And then my sister was the epitome of fashion. She was a model, you know, and what better, you know, that's one of the most beautiful things that people see now, man, when people when these men and women walk in the wrong way, you know, and you see fashion from other spots and whatnot, man. But for me in Chicago, she was it. She was the light for me. You feel me? All the way down to the music, man. And what better, man, back in the day? Yeah, boy, man, you seen the best dancers. You even seen a guy coming down on skates, man. Just, man, it was one of the most beautiful things, and it impacted my life. But I must say, of course, there's always a beautiful picture, man, but Chicago wasn't kind to your boy. I got bullied. I got ridiculed, man, like I was the odd duck, man. So, you know, I had a lot of dark days in Chicago, man. And what better story, what better picture than this right here? This right here was one of the shows I can fall back on. Look at how they came up with these issues and problems, man, and life was good. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, cool. But of course, I go back out, and that drabby day, that rainy day of being spit on, bullied was right there. It was right there for the next, you know what I'm saying, the next go round. And then I was introduced to this, man. When I first saw this rendition right here, and you hear this music hit, man, I tell you what, that impacted my life dramatically, man. And this right here was my symbol, that was hope, that was everything wrapped up into one, man. I'm not gonna say, you know, that I can go out and move, you know, those bullies and all this negative stuff out my way, man. But I tell you what, it kind of gave you hope that one day, one day, I wouldn't have to deal with it as on this level. You know what I'm saying? Just like a picture or an artist, you know, I don't know what like some of these artists have on their minds. I can only, you know, interpret what my thoughts of a picture would be. And as my life moved on from Chicago, I went from one of the greatest cities in the world to one of the most crime-ridden cities, but still had history. Well, that was pretty interesting. Seeing I just came from a city that kind of chewed me up and spit me out. My painting was a bit tainted. Was a bit frustrated, if you will. But the one thing about this portion of my life, I learned a few things. One was being a brother, and to learn who I was supposed to be, right? Who I was to become, and accept who I was to become, you know. And that was a big thing. And strength, man. I tell you what, I had a good friend that stood by me. Now, of course, I had brothers, and they did their job, but it's one individual, man, that stood out above all the rest, you know. And it's sort of like how stories are depicted. This hero type, you know, that comes to save the day and helps everybody in the atmosphere, and the whole universe is good, you know. Like, you know what, matter of fact, let me show you something. This is a picture on my wall, and for the most part, when I'm recording it and doing my thing in here with you guys, you see pieces of this. And I had one person ask me maybe nearly a year ago, what was this painting? Let me tell you what this painting is. Back in the 90s, in the mid 90s, and for some of you people that love history and know about the company Invicta, this is right around the time Invicta was coming back online to becoming a company. My grandmother was painting this, and this ended up in an art museum, Gary, Indiana, on 5th Avenue. And there were other sculptures and all kind of things in there. And my grandmother ended up winning an award for this, and they kept it in there until the actual company, the museum, went under. But I can tell you this: my grandmother went on record to say, when the reporter asked her, "What is this, Miss Franklin? What is this artistry? What is this masterpiece?" My grandmother looked at her with her country self and said, "I don't know. Them just my feelings." Exact words. Man, dude, I saw that on TV and I thought that was the funniest thing. I talked to my grandmother after that, and she said, "Well, shoot, baby, that's what it is." But you know what? I can tell you this. I've been all through Gary, and I can tell you there's nothing in Gary, Indiana that looks like that. So that's telling me that my grandmother has experienced something in her life. And I would later find out that my grandmother used to be a hunter. She used to go with her dad, and they used to hunt wild boar, wild birds and whatnot. And from what I was told, she was actually a pretty good shot. So I look at this. To each stroke that she put on here, this is my grandmother. She's gone now. But she's not at the same time, because she touched every part of this. This was everything, like those strokes I was telling you about. That's everything my grandmother was, man. So this is the epitome, and this only owned two things that my grandmother had. I only have two things in life that my grandmother owned, and this was one of her prized possessions, and it's in my house. There's a lot of history behind this. So when I look at this, I can't help but to see art in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because this right here, this, you have no idea how many times I walked past this painting coming home from high school. All of the heartbreaks, all of the disappointments, all the achievements, the birth of my nephew, all that. This picture seen out, all of it. So this embodies my grandmother's soul, her heart, her hard work, her raising us, her teaching us. And it's one thing, she inspired me not to just be some little bump on the log. Okay, guys, I had to I'm gonna let you know, man, and I don't, I try to be as transparent as possible. And for those that, like I said, know me, and those you guys that's rocking with me, and even the new people, even the people that's criticizing, I can tell you this. This isn't, I've been working on this to just kind of share my life with people, man, and kind of letting people in on what I represent, and how I just view things. And this is not that the last little segment. So there's a nice little gap in between me doing these, because leaving off of my grandmother's picture, what I didn't tell you, what I couldn't tell you, because it's hard. It's hard. Before you saw the cutscenes questions, I'll ask the question, what has art produced in my life? I'll say this. The ability to receive her. Now, just like my sister, my grandmother's, she was completely necessary. The biggest thing I can say is the tapestry of my life was painted to receive her, and she completed. It's almost like a puzzle being put together, and it's not yet complete, but she's opened up the doors to so much outside of children. She's given me kids, giving me that responsibility, helping me become a man. She's given me support. It wasn't easy. I joined the military before we got married, but she accepted that, and she dealt with the long assignments, the deployments. Then she introduced me to other people, which opened up the doors to a whole new world. I could run into this guy, which we became friends, and from friends went to brothers. But then my wife would go out of her way to make sure that I had what I needed on all fronts. And outside of, you can go on vacation and everything. Beautiful. When you go on vacation, the different spots and things that you see. But she introduced me to this. And this was a whole different world. It was something new. It was exciting. It was frustrating. Still is. But I have met so many people through just owning a watch. She bought a watch, and of all the things she's ever purchased, from the clothes, the shoes, hats, look, that there's a whole story within that, and that's for a whole nother time. But there was one in particular, to wrap all this up, Invicta made a watch. This watch. Now, the nomenclature for this watch is called the Boat Zeus. Anybody that sees this watch, there's a few things that's going to happen. Some are going to consider this, oh, that's trash. Oh, why? Why is that? You'll have a lot to say. Some will say, it's whatever. I can care less. Then you have those that will praise it, love it. But I will tell you what this represents when I first saw this. See the colors, please. Just check out that. You see that? That skull face on there reminded me when I first saw it was Skeletor from He-Man. It just took me back to my childhood. But it also represents the Grim Reaper, which next to it, you see that red. To me, I view that as pain. And I've lost a lot of people. But going down all these vibrant colors, there's a blue color in here reminding me of police, right? And not what you think. I had my godfather in Chicago was a police officer, and he was the one that introduced me to watches. He bought me my very first watch, and I saw that. I said, it reminds me of him. You see these cables in here? That right there reminded me of my granny. Outside of the entire art, that reminded me of my granny because she taught me how to be strong. And that represents that this thing is holding this watch together pretty tight. As I look down over this watch, the different schemes, the graffiti, again, it takes me back to the L train in Chicago, man, being sprayed up all over the place. There's so many different schemes and angles and lines. That right there, the actual dial reminds me of the military, gunmetal. There was more to this watch than the average person. You may see something different than I do, but for me, my whole life is wrapped up in this. And the fact that my wife knew at the time I couldn't afford to get this watch. Couldn't. It was out of my price range. And she got it for me. And now we going forward. And guess what? There are many more people that's collecting that I love. You know what I'm saying? That I enjoy. That I talk to on a regular basis, man. Like they everywhere. There's so many people, but everybody's buying this for a different reason. Some people avoiding it for whatever reason. But everybody's not wrong. Everybody's not supposed to like this. Everybody's not supposed to have a feeling about this. But then there's some that are supposed to enjoy this. Family, I just want to give you a piece of me. I want to share this. I thought it was necessary because, again, we've been on this journey, and I do appreciate those that have been by my side, those that are encouraging me to carry on. And even we even talked about this, and I'm being 100 with you. Even the people that don't like the story, people that thumbs down it, man, guess what? You're not wrong. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If it's personal, hey, you have to deal with that on your own. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I just want to let you guys know that I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you guys being a part of my story. And hopefully you guys got something out of it. I hope you guys like the artwork, man. But I do want to give a special thanks to my man John, Vic, all the people that's within the Invicta family, the people from my church, you know what I'm saying? And I give a special thanks to my man Tony Wolt, man, because he gave me this.